Let's do some math.
No math.
Don't worry, it'll be simple stuff. You plus $10,000 plus 10 years ago plus the S&P 500 equals $33,586.91, putting you ahead of 87% of all other investors.
Oh, that's good. That's good, right?
For most people, being in the top 13% might be all you need to live a happy life, but then there are some of us that want to see if we can do better, and that's where I come in with these lists. Today's list features a high-quality dividend stock with the yield above 9%, sustainable payout ratios across the board, amazing dividend growth rates, and most importantly, 5 dividend stocks that crush the S&P 500 over the long haul.
All my favorite stuff in one place.
Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if it's your first time here. My name is Troy, and congratulations, you just found the only weekly stock list you're ever going to need as a dividend investor. This series comes out right here on the channel every Friday at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, and if you want to be well on your way to becoming a trillionaire, the cost of admission is one click on the like button and making sure you're subscribed. Let's go ahead and kick this week's list off with number 5, Broadridge Financial Solutions, stock ticker BR. This is the first time I'm mentioning this stock here on the channel, so let's go ahead and look at the numbers behind this stock. BR is a quarterly payer in the technology sector, paying $3.52 per share per year with a forward dividend yield of 1.65%. BR has been paying and growing their dividend over the past 17 years. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 11.64%, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 10.53%, and a payout ratio of 41.34%. At the time of recording, Broadridge Financial Solutions was trading 4.89% off of its 52-week high. It has an ex-dividend date of September 12th with a payout date of October 3rd. And looking here at this chart, you're going to be able to see the growth of $10,000 while reinvesting your dividends into Broadridge versus the S&P 500. Over those past 10 years, Broadridge would have turned that $10K into $59,684.16, outperforming the S&P 500 by $26,097.25. Coming in at number 4 on this week's list is Domino's Pizza, stock ticker DPZ. This is now the 4th time I've mentioned this stock here on the channel, and if you go back to the very first time I mentioned it on September 9th of 2022, Domino's is underperforming the S&P 500 since that time, but let's go ahead and get a look and see why I still like the numbers behind this stock to perform well over the long haul. DPZ is a quarterly payer in the consumer discretionary sector, paying $6.04 per share per year with a forward dividend yield of 1.46%. DPZ has been paying and growing their dividend over the past 12 years. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 16.51%, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 17.79%, and a payout ratio of 33.44%. Now, at the time of recording, Domino's Pizza was actually trading 23.68% off of their 52-week high. They have an ex-dividend date of September 13th with a payout date of September 30th. And looking here again at this chart, $10K into Domino's 10 years ago would have been turned into $60,538.24, which outperforms the S&P by $26,951.33. Coming in at number 3 on this week's list is Victory Capital, stock ticker VCTR. This is also the first time I'm mentioning this stock here on the channel, so let's go ahead and look at the numbers behind this stock. VCTR is a quarterly payer in the financial sector, paying $1.64 per share per year with a forward dividend yield of 3.01%. VCTR has been paying and growing their dividend over the past 5 years. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 58.16%, and they don't qualify for a 5-year dividend growth rate since they just started paying their dividend for 5 years, but they do have a payout ratio of just 27.51%. At the time of recording, Victory Capital was trading 1.07% off of its 52-week high. It has an ex-dividend date of September 10th with a payout date of September 25th. And looking here at this chart, this one only has history going back 6.56 years, so a little over 6.5 years ago, but the numbers behind it are comparable to the 10-year performances we've been talking about. Just 6.5 years ago, VCTR would have taken $10,000 and turned it into $53,130.92, outperforming the S&P 500 by more than double at $28,769.96. And we're now halfway through this week's video, and you know if you like it or not. If you didn't leave a like earlier in the video, go ahead and do that now. And I want to know in the comments down below if you guys own any of these stocks, and if so, how they're doing for you. And if you don't own any of them, did any stocks I mentioned from today's video pique your interest? But now let's get to the rest of the list. Coming in at number 2 on this week's list is Motorola Solutions, stock ticker MSI. This is also the first time I'm mentioning this stock on this week's list, and the numbers behind this one are going to be very exciting. So let's go ahead and dive right into those. MSI is a quarterly payer in the technology sector, paying $3.92 per share per year with a forward dividend yield of 0.89%. MSI has been paying and growing their dividend over the past 13 years. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 11.31%, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 11.37%, and a payout ratio of 27.18%. Now, at the time of recording, Motorola Solutions was only trading 0.41% off of its 52-week high, but it does have an ex-dividend date of September 13th with a payout date of October 15th. Looking at this chart back to a 10-year time frame, Motorola Solutions would have turned $10,000 into $89,114.63, outperforming the S&P 500 by $55,527.72. And the moment you've all been waiting for, number one on this week's list is Capital Southwest, stock ticker CSWC. Now, this is the 7th time I've actually mentioned this stock here on the channel, and if you go back to the very first time I mentioned this back on March 10th of 2023, CSWC is outperforming the S&P 500. So let's go ahead and see the numbers behind this monster stock and see if it can keep on going into the future. CSWC is a quarterly payer in the financial sector, paying $2.32 per share per year with a forward dividend yield of 9.16%. CSWC has been paying and growing that dividend over the last 9 years. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 10.78%, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 9.08%, and a payout ratio of 93.88%, keeping in mind that this is a BDC. At the time of recording, Capital Southwest was trading 6.98% off of its 52-week high. It has an ex-dividend date of September 13th with a payout date of September 30th, and looking at this chart, you can see why CSWC is number one on this week's list. A $10,000 investment into this one would have turned into $112,111.06, outperforming the S&P 500 by $78,524.15. I can only imagine that's how it feels to be even higher than the top 13%.
Welcome to the club.
And with that being said, if you made it here to the end of the video, but you're watching this on or after September 9th of 2024, it would be in your best interest to make sure you're subscribed. This is because some of the ex-dividend dates I mentioned in this video might have already passed, which means you just missed the next dividend.
Dang it, dang it.
Well, that's certainly not the end of the world. Everybody knows waiting 3 long months for your next dividend really sucks, so don't let that tragedy happen to you. Before you go, don't forget to comment down below. Let me know if you guys own any of these stocks, and if you don't own any of them, which ones piqued your interest the most. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more just like it, make sure you check out this video right here. But until next time, see ya.